don't know who needs to hear this, but dance practices are way more entertaining than most music shows these days.
The key to my destiny. But I still hold the key to my destiny.
Let's be honest. K-pop has way too many things that everyone just accepts without thinking. And the wild part is that half of it doesn't even make sense anymore. The stuff people hype up, the things we call tradition, the way fans react, it's all starting to feel a little fake. Not to mention how nothing exciting ever happens in 2025, which makes K-pop this year super forgettable. Hello again, Rosieries, both old and new to my channel. I'm not here to play nice, I'm here to pull the curtain back. So if you're ready for a reality check, keep watching. Now let's get into it. Music shows these days are nothing but a snooze fest, and I don't even mean that in a shady way. It's just the truth. At this point, they've become more like glorified dress-up runways than actual performances. You tune in expecting energy, live vocals, and maybe even a little chaos to keep it fun. Instead, you get stiff choreography, awkward camera cuts, and half the time, straight-up lip-syncing. Like, why even bother giving them microphones if they're just going to use them as props? Don't get me wrong, music shows used to mean something. Winning first place used to feel like a career milestone, a sign that the group was killing it both musically and performance-wise. Now it feels more like checking off a to-do list. Come backstage, encore stage, one confetti shower, boom, done. There's barely any room for idols to really prove their artistry, because everything feels prepackaged and safe. Idols have nothing to lose when they can actually get away with putting in the bare minimum since it's been normalized. Lip sync the whole thing? No problem. Look a little lost in the choreo? Fans will still scream "Queen" in the comments. Honestly, you don't even need to worry about sounding bad. Half the time, the blaring backtrack drowns everything out anyway. Sure, some idols actually put effort into live vocals, but when it comes to music shows, it barely makes a difference. If you want to see what idols are really made of, music shows are honestly the worst place to look. Concerts, festivals, or even random live clips on social media give you a way clearer picture of who can actually perform and who's just coasting by on hype. So yeah, music shows aren't the testament to talent people think they are anymore. They're more like background noise in the K-pop machine. Idols aren't overworked because they're putting out too many comebacks. They're overworked because their companies keep shoving them into the most pointless promo schedules known to man. Like, do we really need 3 radio shows, 5 variety appearances, and an exclusive interview where they answer the exact same 10 questions we've heard 100 times? The irony is, companies love to parade this around as, look how active our group is, when in reality, it's just busy work. Half of these appearances don't even boost sales or streams. They just drain the idols and give fans a few recycled sound bites to tweet about for 24 hours. Meanwhile, the members are running on caffeine and sheer survival mode, smiling through schedules that feel more like a punishment than promotion. And let's not even talk about those weird filler events, like photo ops in random malls or promotions for products that don't even make sense. You're telling me my fave trained for 10 years just to spend their afternoon advertising bottled water at a supermarket? Be serious. If companies actually cut out the fluff and focused on quality performances, meaningful content, and music that speaks for itself, idols wouldn't be collapsing from exhaustion every other week. It's not the comebacks that are killing them, it's the nonsense in between. So no, the problem isn't too many songs. The problem is these chaotic schedules that make it look like something's happening, when really, nothing is. Idols deserve better than to be treated like walking billboards just to trick fans into thinking their group is booked and busy. Some K-pop choreographies these days honestly look better on TikTok than they do on an actual stage. And that's not even shade. On TikTok, you've got the tight camera angles, the quick cuts, the clean little dance challenges that make every move look snappy and addictive. But the second you watch the full routine on stage, half the time it feels flat, repetitive, and kind of boring. Like the camera is doing the heavy lifting, not the idol. Think about it. So many dances are designed around that one viral moment. The little hand gesture, the hair flip, the 2-second hook that's supposed to trend. But when you stretch that into a 3-minute performance, you realize there's not much there. It's like eating frosting without the cake. Fun for 2 bites, but you don't want the whole plate. And here's where it gets tricky. Choreographers aren't necessarily lazy, they're just playing into the system. They know fans are going to clip those 10 seconds for TikTok anyway, so why waste time building a full dynamic routine? The problem is, when you're watching a live stage, you can't help but notice the lack of depth. There's no storytelling, no big payoff, just idols going through the motions until the viral move pops up. Don't get me wrong, it's not that idols can't dance. They absolutely can. But when the choreo itself is designed to look good on a phone screen rather than in an arena, the performance loses its magic. At this point, the cameraman deserves a daisang, because without those fancy angles, half of these routines would flop harder than a rookie debut. This is not always the case, though. The biggest scam in K-pop has to be Japanese versions of songs. And before anyone comes for me, I'm not saying people who enjoy them are wrong. You do you. But let's be real, 9 times out of 10, it's not some grand cultural adaptation. It's just the same exact track with swapped out lyrics for a quick cash grab. Like, I get it. Japan is a huge market, and companies want that yen. But can we at least pretend to try? Half the time the translations don't even flow properly, the phrasing feels awkward, and the vocals don't hit the same because the lines weren't written for Japanese in the first place. It's like trying to copy-paste a paragraph into Google Translate and calling it a masterpiece. And don't even get me started on the production. Most of these songs aren't reimagined, they're just slightly remixed or straight up identical to the Korean version. No new instrumentation, no cultural flavor, no real creativity. Just idols in the studio re-recording lines they already sang, now in a different language. That's not artistry, that's homework. What kills me is that there are groups who actually do put effort into their Japanese releases. Brand new tracks, fresh concepts, full albums that feel intentional. And those stand out because they feel like love letters to that market instead of quick cash-ins. But for the majority, yeah, it's giving lazy. At this point, if you're gonna call it a Japanese version, at least spice it up. Switch the beat, add some cultural flair, make it feel like something worth listening to in addition to the original, not just a karaoke cover. Otherwise, it's not a version, it's a copy. I don't know who needs to hear this, but dance practices are way more entertaining than most music shows these days. And that honestly says less about fans being obsessed with rehearsal videos, and way more about how stale stages have become. Think about it. When a dance practice drops, it actually feels fun. You get clean angles, no weird camera cuts, no fake crowd noise drowning out the music, and idols just doing what they do best, dancing. It's raw, it's straightforward, and it lets you actually see the choreography instead of getting whiplash from a cameraman who thinks he's directing an action movie. Meanwhile, music shows? They used to feel like an event, but now half the performances look copy-pasted. Same stage setups, same energy, same lifeless audience clapping on cue. Some idols even look like they're just going through the motions, because they've already performed that stage 20 times in one promo cycle. By the time you watch the music show version, you're not getting anything new. You're just watching a watered-down rerun. And don't even get me started on the lip-syncing. At least in a dance practice, you're not pretending it's live. It's just choreography focus. And somehow that ends up feeling more authentic than the supposed live stages. The fact that fans are hyped for rehearsal videos over official stages should be a wake-up call. It's not that we don't care about live performances, it's that the live performances stopped being exciting. Music shows are supposed to be the main stage, the big spotlight. But if the behind-the-scenes version is pulling more views and buzz, then maybe it's time for producers to admit they're the problem. Some of these so-called viral choreos aren't iconic. They're just easy enough for non-fans to copy on TikTok. And that's not me trying to be a hater, that's just the truth. There's a difference between choreography that makes you stop and go, wow, that's art, and choreography that goes viral, because it only takes 2 brain cells and half a minute to learn. Simplicity works for going viral, I'll give it that. If your aunt who doesn't even know what K-pop is can nail the chorus after watching it twice, then yeah, it's going to spread like wildfire. But is that iconic? Not really. Iconic is when people are still trying to learn the move 10 years later. Not when the trend dies the second TikTok moves on to the next dance. The problem is, the industry now knows this. Companies deliberately make TikTok choreo moments, instead of focusing on a full routine that actually challenges idols and showcases skill. Suddenly, it's less about artistry and more about marketing. What part of the dance can we chop up and loop into a 15-second clip? It's smart business, sure, but it kind of kills the magic of choreography as a whole. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying every viral dance is trash. Some are genuinely fun and creative. But if the main reason a move is iconic is because your grandma and your little cousin can both do it perfectly on their first try, maybe we should stop confusing viral with legendary. I thought we accepted that not all idols are close and are just co-workers years ago. Why are some people shocked that idols are not as close as they think they were, and only pretend because it's expected of them? Some idol friendships are hyped up not because they're real ride-or-die bonds, but because companies know fans will eat it up and turn every little interaction into a viral edit. A 2-second clip of idols standing next to each other on stage suddenly becomes a, quote, legendary friendship moment, and boom, there are fan cams, edits, and entire shipping threads about it. Meanwhile, off-camera, those same idols barely even acknowledge each other. It's not that idols hate each other, it's just business. Their schedules are insane, they're focused on their own groups, and honestly, not everyone in the industry is going to be besties. But companies know fans love the idea of cross-group friendships, so they push those crumbs out there, and fans turn them into a whole storyline. It's basically marketing disguised as friendship. The wild part is, real idol friendships do exist, and they usually aren't the ones being shoved down our throats. The genuine ones are low-key, subtle, and you can tell when the bond is actually natural versus when it feels like it's staged for fan service. But because the fake ones get more attention, it almost cheapens the real ones. Don't get me wrong, it's fun to watch edits and ships. That's part of the fandom experience, that's if stans aren't complete weirdos. But we also need to remember that not everything we see is a reflection of reality. Sometimes it's just PR strategy in a cute package. So before we crown every handshake or side-eye as proof of an iconic friendship, maybe we should admit that some of these so-called besties are just co-workers playing into what the company knows will trend. Wait, where did ballads go? Ballads used to be that moment where idols could actually sing, where you'd feel the emotion hit you in the chest and the song would stick with you for years. But nowadays, it feels like ballads are on life support, and the industry just quietly unplugged the machine. The problem isn't that people suddenly hate slow songs. It's that no one seems to know how to write a good ballad anymore. Half the ones we get now sound like generic OST leftovers. Nice in the moment, but forgettable 5 minutes later. The melodies don't cut deep, the lyrics feel recycled, and the production is often so safe it's boring. Where's the drama? The raw emotion? The, oh my god, I need to stare out the window while it rains kind of ballad? And let's be real, companies don't even try to market them anymore. If it's not TikTok friendly or stage ready, they just shove the ballad onto the album as filler and call it a day. Gone are the days when a ballad comeback could be a cultural moment. Now it's like, oh, track 8 is slow, anyway, moving on. It sucks because ballads used to balance out K-pop. You'd have your hype title tracks, your dance bangers, and then that one emotional song that showed an idol's vocals and vulnerability. Without that, everything feels a little flat. So yeah, ballads aren't dead because fans don't want them. They're dying because companies forgot how to make them matter. And until someone cracks the code again, we're stuck with background music instead of masterpieces. I really did something with XOXOZ because wow, this track is just good from start to finish. Like, I went in with my usual let me lower my expectations mindset, because let's be real, 2025 has not been giving us a lot of musical resets, but this one? Yeah, it's been on repeat. There's literally nothing in this song I don't like. The verses pull you in immediately, the pre-choruses build that perfect tension, and then the bridge. Oh my gosh, the bridge. You know how K-pop songs lately have been skipping bridges like they're optional? XOXOZ said, nah, we're actually gonna deliver. Liz and Wonyoung especially killed it. Their vocals hit exactly where they needed to, and it gave the song that extra layer of drama that most tracks this year have been missing. And can we talk about how refreshing it feels to hear an actual structured K-pop song again? Verse, pre-chorus, chorus, and a bridge that doesn't sound like it was thrown together in the last 5 minutes of production. Was that really so much to ask? Apparently yes, but Ivy said, "We got you." What makes XOXOZ even better is that it doesn't feel like they're trying too hard. It's polished, but it's also fun and confident in a way that just works. It doesn't feel like filler, it feels like an actual statement track. So yeah, XOXOZ might not be a cultural reset, but it's proof that when a group takes the time to give us a complete song instead of a TikTok loop, magic happens. And I'm here for it. Yikes! Some stans need to wake up and accept that not every idol out there is a good person. Some of them absolutely prioritize their bank account over their morals, and that's just facts. I know, idol culture makes us want to see everyone as perfect, hardworking angels who live to entertain. But that's not reality. Money talks, contracts are messy, and sometimes personal gain wins over doing what's ethically right. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying all idols are like this. Plenty genuinely care about their fans, their music, and even bigger causes. But there are some cases where it's painfully obvious that the decision isn't about artistry or ethics, it's about profit. Whether it's shady endorsements, partnerships with problematic companies, or just cashing in on a trend they don't actually stand behind, it happens more than people want to admit. The problem is stans. Fans have this instinct to defend every action, excuse every misstep, and build these narratives where their bias can do no wrong. That's cute, but it's also dangerous if it blinds you to reality. Recognizing that an idol may be acting out of self-interest doesn't make you a hater, it makes you realistic. And here's the thing, accepting this doesn't mean you can't enjoy their music or support them. It just means you don't have to pretend their decisions are always morally flawless. You can stand responsibly, love the music, appreciate the talent, and still call out the greed or shady choices when you see them. At the end of the day, idols are human, money talks, and stans need to stop pretending otherwise. Reality check, people. Whether you agree, disagree, or you're already rage typing in the comments, one thing's for sure. Some of you will get it, some of you won't, and honestly, that's the fun part. So go ahead, argue, debate, scream into the void. I'll be here watching with my popcorn. If you enjoyed this video, then go ahead and like, subscribe, and click that notification bell Rogieries to get more content. Until next time, stay unbothered, stay real. Peace.